isn't it? That's all right. There she is. Oh, wow.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey! All right.
Hi.
4.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Say hello to Nate. Nate Tello. He's the man. So quickly, I've been filming these out on my deck because there's a nice backdrop out in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And you would have felt a lot more at home because you're a woodsy kind of fella.
Oh, for sure.
And it's starting to hail now, so my wife thought it was a bad idea. So now I'm in my kitchen, and it's going to be more like the Chewy show because he's not going to stop barking.
Well, I got Kaya, so.
All right, good.
Yes. Hey, Kaya.
Look.
Kaya, say hello.
There he is.
Oh, Chewy. Chewy, did you get shaved?
Yeah, well, about a year and a half ago when we went to the emergency room, and he's almost 12 now, so his fur didn't grow back.
Oh, weird.
Hasn't grown back in a year and a half.
Oh, hi, Michaela.
Hi,
How are you?
Yeah, before we started, she's like, I wanted to say hi, because I was like, start recording right away. I don't want to miss anything. And she's like, I wanted to say hi, but I didn't want to be on here.
Oh, well.
I'll say hi afterwards when you're done.
Oh, okay, good.
Perfect. I love that poster in the background.
Oh, thanks. I should give you a little tour. So this is,
do that.
Well, this is just what we have here. This was like up in like our old warehouse. So we got one of me. This I feel like this was before Olympia, like the first Olympia. Not like right before. And this is the best one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you call that your office?
This right now, so we're actually in the process of building our new headquarters here. So we moved here and we got into a warehouse completely it was half the size of the one. I don't know if you were in the one in PA. Yeah, because you did a camp with me. Duh.
I stayed there twice.
Yeah, duh. I'm an idiot. So that was 40,000. So we're in like 15,000, maybe less. It's real small. So we outgrew that because the supplement line needed like more storage. So we bought another warehouse. So I'm in the other warehouse, and this was just like overstock. And we put our gym in here, like our personal gym, because I obviously need places to train and do videos and whatnot.
Right.
We added on to that warehouse. So now this is just the gym, and Rob's cars stay here. So we're going to build a headquarters where everything's all under one roof, which will make life so much simpler. Because right now our house is here, and we drive to work, and then it's like a big triangle, and it's a waste of time. So that we just broke ground 4 weeks ago. So
How far is this new location from your house?
it's right near the airport, so it's 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Not bad.
But it'll be nice that like I can go to work, and then a lot of times we base everything around like, oh, okay, we need to shoot a product. We'll wait till the end of the day so we can go to the gym because it's like out of the way. Here now we can just like, oh, let's go downstairs, go to the gym, shoot the product, and let's go. So it'll save so much time.
Yeah. And do you have a similar setup to the place in PA where it was like a apartment? You had a kitchen, bedrooms?
Like right now we don't have, like, our kitchen is like, it's just like a refrigerator and a little sink. But like we put that kitchen in because I was living there,
right,
prepping for Olympia. So we actually redid that whole kitchen. Yeah, and there were all these office spaces. It's hard moving into someone else's building, and that's what we've been doing. You just move into this building and try to make it work, make some arrangements here and there. So we're now finally building our own to exactly what we need. And the gym's gonna be so dope. Yeah.
How much space is for the gym?
I mean, it's pretty much almost the whole, no, I guess it's not the whole downstairs, but I mean, it's gonna be like 4,000 to 5,000, if not Yeah, I'm not good with square footage. 3,000 to 5,000 square feet.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
Not a public gym. It's just going to be you and.
No, it's just ours. Super stylized, so like we can shoot in it, and then like if we ever do camps again, we'll do like smaller camps because those were fun.
So I got to ask a question about that and jump in, Jose. So on our first podcast, I asked Jose. We were talking about people that he's trained with, and I said, "Who kicked your ass the most? What was the hardest workout you've ever had?" And I think I was expecting like a Branch Warren.
Oh yeah.
You know, maybe there was like a Jay Cutler in there, and he's like DLB. And so he was telling me he had gone down to do a camp, and he had all these excuses. He was off season.
Oh yeah, leg day. You
his
bitched
cart, his
out on me.
Wheaties that day, yeah. And he ended up on the floor. So can you please, just for my enjoyment, embarrass Jose and tell that story?
Oh yeah, here I am training with you, who like I don't know, because that's why. So Jose was the first coach I never had a coach before. So I finally went pro, and I was like, I feel like I need help. So and I needed help with legs, so I was like, why not go to the guy with the freakiest legs? So Jose helped me, and I remember fucking training with you, and you fucking bitched out. You stopped halfway.
I will put it in perspective. All right. So this was right around Christmas time. I think it was December 9th.
Oh yeah, it was like yeah.
And I hadn't trained or done cardio or anything since like a month after the Olympia. So it had been a while, and I was significantly fat, and we weren't doing legs. We were doing this circuit of shoulders.
Yeah.
We did like 6-7 exercises of 20 reps each. And after the first or second time through, I had to tap out. I was like totally out of breath. I was getting dizzy. And there's like 50 people watching us or more. And that was the first time in my life I was really like embarrassed. But I'm like, hey, there's nothing I can do here. And you just ate it up. You're like, yeah, come on. What are you doing, fat ass? I was literally laying on the floor trying to catch my breath. But I wasn't in the middle of training. I actually had to start training for the Arnold within a week or two after that.
See, well, that is something I actually did not know. I think you were the first person that said that. I thought it was just you. Like, you just took, like, your off-season super serious. But, like, I know, like, Flex Lewis he doesn't train for, like, 4 months because he'll just grow. Like, he can't, otherwise he won't fit in his class. So, but I guess it's just a bodybuilder thing. Nope, I train every day, all year round.
You do, and you're out of your mind.
I know. Well, I gotta.
But you know what? You've said that before in other interviews, and that's a brilliant thing, is because that's why you always look good.
Yeah.
And that's, your business. It's you, that face, that body, that personality. You have to always be on and always be, ready. Where I've been at events where people will come up and looking at my pictures like, oh, this one's cool. Who's this? I'm like, that's me. And they're like, nah, that ain't you. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, I got a haircut. They're like, no, you're a fat guy. Like, oh, come on, man. Where I don't think you've ever experienced that, have you?
No. So that was like the one thing is maybe that's why like I don't put on an extreme amount of size. I never believed in like an off season where like you just eat like a ton and you gain a lot. Like I didn't want to gain any weight. I would gain a little bit of weight after a show, but I never wanted to do a bulk because as soon as I got my pro card, I was like, oh, like I consider like I'm a professional athlete. I should look professional at all times. So whether that hurt me, I think in the long run, no, it didn't hurt me. Maybe I'm just not the best bodybuilder in the world, but not really what I only care about.
Right. So there's also another aspect of that where you've been accused time and time again of taking this or taking that. And you can't look the way you do at all times.
No.
And be running these cycles.
That's what bothers me the most. So I got, I didn't actually see this video until like a week ago, but like do you know Greg Doucette? I forget his
Yeah,
name.
either one's fine.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
He's
I don't really know.
Godfrey.
Yeah,
He's
but
like, hey, Dana's on drugs.
it's what's wrong? First of all, what's wrong with his voice? Like,
I think he's trying to squeeze his voice out of his eyes.
so I guess Rob had already saw the video, but I like got mad because I am like putting out more YouTube videos now, and somehow his popped up about me getting rhabdo because I do steroids. I was like, wow, I just completely lost your respect in every avenue. And he's supposed to be like a guru of some sort, has like a background.
Yeah.
And if the dude obviously has not met me in person,
No.
because when you meet me in person, you're like, oh,
He's a girl.
I'm a girl and I'm only 125 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
do you not think in 16 years, like the way I train and not like, and training all year round, like, why wouldn't I be any bigger? Like, I'm not any bigger.
You would have fluctuated. You would have a beard by now.
Oh my
Your
God.
voice would be deeper than mine.
Ugh.
But in Greg's defense, I've met him a few times, and he's reached out to me when I had my hip surgery. And he's actually a really nice guy. He
I
got
bet.
caught up in the performance of what he's doing, and because
Yeah.
he's making money now on YouTube, and he's like, this character is what he is. Because when I've talked to him, he didn't talk like Gilbert Gottfried, you know.
Yeah.
He talked like a normal guy. So he's trying to get views and clicks and
Yeah, and I
off-the-wall
understand.
things, you know, but at the expense of your reputation.
Oh, exactly.
I wouldn't be happy about that either. But
Well,
you know,
it's just, it's so obvious. Like, one, your criteria makes no, like, if you actually knew how I trained, saw me in person, I think I would change your mind a little bit. It's just,
yeah, shit, I got rhabdo from training with you.
yeah, you probably did. That's why you tapped out.
Yeah, I still have it today. That was 8 years ago. Fuck you, Duchette. You don't know what you're talking about. I get rhabdo every day. I train with Dana.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, yeah. What was the point of that conversation?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. I've seen you. I'm a big advocate because I was always the natural guy coming up, and I was a huge advocate of natural bodybuilding. I was always, my wife just wrote a letter that said, please involve Nate more. So
Nate, I can hear your little giggle.
Nate's got some questions, but I'm going to finish this thought.
Oh,
But-
sorry, Nate.
I was always the the card carrying natural guy, and until I wasn't, and I was always a staunch defender of natural athletes, or people, especially people I respect and love, that like they're not gonna say they're natural if they're not, you know. So I've always said, and I got to know you, and I got to train with you, and I got to see you, like year in and year out, and just nothing changed, you know. I was expecting your voice to get a little raspy, or you know, if you had a cold, I'd be like, oh, maybe she's on some, he's trending out, you know. But it never really happened. And
Well-
you know, just getting to know you and Rob and the character of you guys, like it's, if you did it, you'd own it. You'd be like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sure, I
Well,
have
that's
to.
the problem. Not everyone owns it, and it annoys me that girls that I know are doing drugs and then they claim natty. That's what ruins it for everyone that actually is natural. That's why.
Yeah.
It's because people actually lie about it. And it's very annoying.
Yeah, of course. I went through it for years and years
Yeah.
and years. I was tested in high school, taken out of algebra class when I was 14 years old from these accusations.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I understand the feeling of being accused.
Well, that's why when I did the little switch to powerlifting, that's why I chose USAPL, because they randomly drug test you. I was drug tested 4 or 5 times within like a month and a half, like 2 months. Like, guys, I'm serious. They test you the day of the meet. You have to write out your schedule, like what time you work, where do you work out, what time do you train, where do you train at. So they would show up the gym randomly, and then you just have to go and pee.
That's
so-
pretty cool.
I know. I mean, and obviously I passed because I went to the freaking Arnold. Like, I passed every single one.
What if you can't pee?
Oh, I would like,
Man.
they stand in there and they watch, like you're not allowed to go in a stall by yourself. Like the doors open and they stand right. They make it so serious. I know. So I usually would have her like run the water or something. I try to drink a bunch and like, can you run the water?
Thinking, how can I get that job?
All right, so here. All right, your turn, Nate.
All right, so
all right, Nate.
Jose mentioned that you were the hardest workout partner he ever had. Who are some of your hardest workouts? The people that you've trained with that pop out of that was a brutal workout.
It's funny because it's never a guy. I feel like it's like the person that works out probably just as hard as me, sometimes harder, is like Brooke Entz. She's like my best friend in the whole wide world. And that's who kind of got me into like the whole like CrossFit realm and doing like changing workouts up. Cause not that I do CrossFit, but like I definitely like add it into my training during the week. And especially when I go and train with her, like we always I just enjoy it. But yeah, she'd probably be the hardest worker.
Well, women,
I feel like everyone else that I train with, it's like I kind of lead it, and like it's like if you survive, then you're good. But yeah, she's it. Maybe Kai. Kai's like Kai just trains for too long, like 3 hours. Like,
does he do an hour on the step mill before he starts?
Yeah, like I've trained with it. Like I've done his like full workouts, and I'm like, after like 40 minutes of cardio, I'm just like, bro, like I'm sweaty. I don't feel like lifting now.
I gotta eat.
I don't know, I'm hungry. But like I've done his workout. His are just not that the workouts are like intense. He goes pretty heavy, but his workouts are just so long because he does like this hour cardio session, ab, and then he trains, which I would do the cardio and abs after I train. I would save all my energy for the training. I would do it opposite of him.
So was he someone that moves quickly, or does he like kind of go into dreamland for a few minutes in between?
I mean, it all depends on where he's. I mean, every time we've pretty much trained together, it's like at an expo or something, and there's just tons of people, but it's generally like one exercise at a time, and you go hard at that. Like he's just so strong. He's so strong. And I'm more or less like, I like setting like 3 exercises together. I'm the one that like takes up 3 machines. I'm like, I want to do this little thing, just 10 here, 10 here, 10 here, and just rip on those as much as possible. It's just the style of training is just different. I like the cardio burning, pumping feeling. I'll do like my heavy compounds. Like there's always like 1 or 2 heavy compounds, but everything else is like superset together, you know. You tapped out.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that. I appreciate that too. Nate and I did legs the other day, and we supersetted leg extensions and hack squats. And then on the last set, we did a drop set on both. But
Triple drop set. Yeah.
That sounds about what that. So Nate, I guess I haven't trained with him, but maybe he's the hardest worker.
No.
He's grooming me for where he failed. Yeah. He said one day he'll send me out to train with you and see if I can make it further than he did.
Well,
good luck, pal. So here's, speaking of that, I was going to ask you, I need some advice, Dana. How do you deal with a workout partner that won't shut the hell up? It just talks too much. So your sets, I like to move quick in between sets. And this guy will get into a story, and he's holding the bar, like ready to go. And I
just tell him.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm more like, let's go, man. Like, I don't have a whole lot of time. Like, keep up the pace. If you can't, I got to leave you.
Yeah. All right.
Right now, like I train by myself for the most part. Like Rob used to train with me. He's just finally like starting to get back into that. But like, I'm normally trained by myself. I train for the Olympia by myself. I train for Austin trained with me once we hired him. You know, Austin,
little cutie pie, Austin.
The little cutie pie, Austin. Austin was such a trooper.
Is he out there?
What's that?
Is he in Montana?
Yeah. Yep. He's here. But he's back to being a bodybuilder. I like him much more as a bodybuilder. He did like the powerlifting thing for a while. It's just like, I don't know, so did I. It's just bleh. But he's back into like bodybuilding. He was supposed to do a show like 3 months ago and they canceled the show, but like he continued to prep for it. And then like we shot pictures of him. He's just a little good. What's that?
Did he look good?
Oh yeah, shredded.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, he's a little dude. Was he like 150?
I think he like came down to probably like high 130s.
Wow.
Yeah.
How tall is he?
Like 5'8", 5'9".
Wow.
He's just a tiny. I mean, he's the size of me.
Little.
That's why we were great workout partners.
And you're stronger than him on some lifts, aren't you?
I mean, per body weight, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
So do you have any desire to compete again in anything? Powerlifting, American Ninja Warrior, back to bodybuilding?
I actually
Fighting games.
I know, right? I thought about the Olympia this year, but I've been having sort of like a rough year, like health-wise. So it tempted me because it was in December. It's like I don't want to prep all through the summer. Like I just bought a boat. Like I want to drink on the boat. Like it just would ruin my summer. Yeah. But they like moved it to December, and I got like thinking, I'm like, I feel like I have like one show left in me, and it's not to win it. It's just to prove points. We always say like we wanted to do like drug tests, like weekly drug tests the whole way up, and like people that call me out, that like I don't know, Greg, if you want to call me out and call my bluff, like you can come whenever you want and randomly drug test me. Just anyone that wants.
Greg will come just to watch you pee. He seems a little out there.
No, they're not out in. I'll have a girl nurse come in.
So what are you gonna do? Why don't you just prep and see what happens?
Well, I was waiting. So I found out I had Graves' disease in October. So I've been like dealing with that. I lost like almost 18 pounds in like a month. So like I am like much smaller than I would. Like I feel like I noticed the most in my legs. But
what is Graves? Is that your thyroid?
Yeah. So Graves' disease is hyperthyroid, and like my resting heart rate was like 112. I had like all the symptoms that you could possibly have except for the bulging eyes. If you look up Graves' disease, bulging eyes. But rapid heart rate, fatigue, obviously tons of weight loss. Like, I lost a ton of weight. I just wish I like caught it sooner. And I didn't get fixed so I started seeing an endocrinologist, put me on medication. I didn't get fixed until I actually went and saw a naturopath, and she's what fixed me. She changed up my medication. She put me on like magnesium and selenium and all these other things that like help, and then help me with my diet too. Cause I was eating a pescatarian diet, and it was a lot of shrimp, and shrimp has like a ton of iodine in it, which triggers your thyroid. So I'm eating all the food that is trying to make my thyroid keep producing. I was just counter-reacting myself. So I just got blood work done 2 weeks ago, and they're not quite back to normal. I feel great. So I didn't want to like start anything until everything was completely normal, because stress has like such a huge impact on it. I can tell when something happens and then I get blood work, my levels are going to go up, because it's all endocrine system. It's all hormones. So like when cortisol levels are up, it's going to fuck up all this other stuff. So I know like prepping would just add like stress. So I don't want it to like rear its ugly head again, and then I lose like a bunch of weight again. It was horrible.
Yeah. You know, all the naysayers are going to say it's from all the massive amounts of T3 you were taking.
Well, usually don't people get like hypothyroid? Wouldn't it be the opposite?
Yeah, but they don't know the difference.
Yeah, I know. So mine is the revert. Like my sister, I don't know if it's like a hereditary, but my sister had to get her thyroid removed. She had hypo. I have hyper. So
it's okay right now?
Yeah, I feel great. My strength is coming back. I did a video about why I started doing this like more athletic training, because I would go to the gym and the girl that used to be able to bench 225 couldn't lift 85 pounds off her chest. Like couldn't bench 85 pounds. So it was really hard to like go through a workout. And you know, like lateral raises, I can do 45s, like easy. Yeah. And I'm struggling, like I'm doing like 15 pounds. So like motivation was just not there at all. So I had to like switch gears. I started working with a trainer here. His name is Dan Holgan, Rasta Runner. Everyone knows him on Instagram. And he does like explosive athletic training. So we barely do any kind of weights. It's like jumping, HIIT training, and just all sorts of like, I just feel like an athlete again. Like he asked me like, okay, like what are this month, like, what do you want to work on? So this month we're working on core, endurance, and jumping. And then he creates workouts for that. So yeah.
Box jumping, jump roping.
Oh, all sorts of stuff. And like a lot of like HIIT training that I can finally do now. I couldn't do it 6 months ago because like walking to my car, I'd be I just felt like, I guess what out of shape people feel like. My heart would just be like going up a flight of stairs. Wow. Like you were in your off season. That's how it felt.
When I'm 40 pounds overweight, I get it.
Exactly.
But you were actually underweight.
What's that?
But you were underweight.
Oh yeah, I was the same weight. I was 100. Like I normally am about 140. I'm trying to actually stay. I'm at 130 right now, and I like that feeling. I feel a little smaller, tighter. So I'm not going back up to 140. I'm gonna try to stay right here between 130 and 135. Feels really, really good. Or actually 125 to 130 feels really good. So I'm sticking around 130, but I was like 120 pounds, maybe, yeah.
Wow.
So I lost 18 pounds.
That's almost your competition weight, right?
Yeah, but I was like stringy with no muscle.
Right. That's a terrible feeling.
Oh, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
That's the thing. I've heard you talk in the past, in past interviews of you and Rob had sat down years ago and made a 5-year plan and said, what is it we want to accomplish, whether it's in bodybuilding and business. And I think you said in 2 years you had checked everything off, that whole plan. Yeah. What's on your current 5-year or 10-year plan? What are you hoping to accomplish now?
That's such a struggle. I've been struggling with that ever since I stopped competing. I've been like, I felt really lost for about 3 years. And then I started my own website, which then finally like got me back into like, what am I, like my purpose. So like before, like my purpose was I'm an athlete, I'm a competitor, I train. That's what I do. So you take that away from me, which I've been doing that since I've been 5 years old. I've been a competitor since 5 years old. That's all I know is I train for events. I train for meets. I train for games, like throughout my whole life. And then you take that you take everything that I've been accustomed to and you take that away. And I was lost. So in that time, we were moving to Montana. So that like took over and getting that all prepared. I have more time to concentrate on the girls line for Flagner Fail. So 2 years ago, I started my website, which is just a daily website. I do daily training, daily workouts every single day. That's what I'm known for. So I've been doing that for 2 years. So that revived like, okay, like I'm helping people, I'm training people, I'm inspiring people, and I'm just, that's what I love the most. And like, that's why I did the powerlifting thing, tried to see if that like helped. And I finally realized I don't actually care about how much weight I can press or squat and deadlift. My body hurt. It really hurt. I did it opposite of what everyone usually does, is like they're powerlifters and then they turn into bodybuilders. And I was a bodybuilder that turned into powerlifter, and my back was hurting. Everything was just broken. So I stopped that. And now like my focus is on YouTube. But yeah, like I'm still missing something. There's just something I'm missing, like probably competition wise. That's like I don't think I'll ever have like that full spectrum of like I'm doing it unless I'm like competing for something, because I feel like I'm still like, what am I doing? Why am I training? Like,
So we had Mike O'Hearn on a week or two ago, and we were kind of talking about this, and Mike turned it around and asked Jose if he was ever able to appreciate the contest that he was winning while he was winning. And he said no, because there was like, for him, the goal was the Olympia. So when he won the Arnold, it was like, this is cool. Now it's time to prep for the Olympia. Were you able to appreciate the wins that you had while you had them, or were you always looking past it?
I mean, there were very few wins. Believe it or not. I mean, I've had all the best wins, I would say. But it's funny, like I won the first ever pro card for physique, and then I lost. I was like dead last at New York Pro. Like I didn't do so good. And then like finally won the Tampa to finally go to the Olympia, won the first Olympia, but I've never been throughout all my 10 years of competing. I probably only had like a handful of wins, because in figure, I was dead last. So
how about the Olympia though? When you won that, was it everything you were expecting it to be?
I was let down. Yeah. I thought this was the whole goal. Like I was doing it because, I mean, I loved it and I was honored and I just amazed, but I thought something would happen. And I think a lot of people think something's going to happen. I didn't even get a photograph of me after that. Like no photographers shot me. I wasn't on any magazines. I had like a little tiny picture like in there. It wasn't until Mark Bell put like the following year, Mark Bell put me on the cover of Power magazine, because he was like, why aren't you on magazines? You're #1 in the fucking world and you're not even on a magazine. So he put me on the cover of Power magazine, which is a powerlifting magazine. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, maybe we can put her on a magazine. And so, yeah, it was weird that I was still not looked at. I think everyone was still like just behind. They're just like, well, we don't know how to shoot her. Like, we only know how to shoot bikini models, like sexy. It's like, oh, okay. So then finally Muscular Development got me on board. I shot with
Kluko.
Yeah, Kluko.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Kluko, that was after, when did we shoot that? I don't even know when we shot that. Maybe my dates are all mixed up, but I know after.
It was after. It was after, significantly after you won the Olympia. Because
the whole reason we did Porsche Tour on the second Olympia was so that we had we had a reason. So like we did Porsche Tour. It's like, oh, when finally photographers like, oh, hey, let's shoot. I got second place. I didn't even win it that year. They wanted to shoot and we turned them down. We're like, sorry, we're leaving. We got Porsche Tour. And I did a YouTube video with Mike Rashid and we trained. And we went to City Athletic Club where everyone was getting photographed. And like Juliana Malacarne, all the physique and fitness and everyone was getting photographed. And me and Mike Rashid did this crazy shoulder workout the very next day. I was so pumped. And I told all the photographers no. And then we left the very next day for Porsche Tour.
Wow.
So yeah, you guys missed your chance. I will say I like Muscular Development. Then I did that column for them for quite some time. Yeah, that was like 6 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Well, you hadn't like fully became DLB until after that. So they didn't realize the effect you were going to have. Had they, everyone would have shot you then and there.
Well, it's weird because my fans knew. Like, I already had this crazy following. It's just like the industry was like a year or two behind. Yeah. Like, they just didn't catch on. Because, like, that, you were the only the only reason I had an MHP sponsorship was because of you. They didn't want anything to do with me. Yeah. because I didn't have tits and ass. Like, that's because, and every time they wanted to shoot me, they're like, here, wear this little thing. I'm like, no, I'm gonna like cut up a tank top, and like I'm not wearing that. That's not who I am. I'm not a bikini model.
So
like,
they wanted you for the what was the one that Kai was with? The carnivore.
Oh, muscle meds.
Muscle meds. They wanted you for muscle meds. And I'm like, dude, no way. I'm like, that's my girl. I'm like, her and I do stuff together. I'm like, why would she be with them? We can do a lot more. You can utilize her a lot better with MHP. And they're like, oh, you know her? I'm like, oh my God. And that's the problem with a lot of these companies is they're so out of touch with what's going on.
Like,
they don't even know
they're
things.
not keeping up with what's relevant. And
Right.
yeah, it was just I don't regret any part of it because I feel like it made my life better. I knew my value. Well, actually, I think Rob knew my value way more than I knew my value, and he taught me that like I'm bigger than this. Yeah. So then after I left MHP, because they like.
I love that story. You can elaborate on it without getting too specific. But Rob made a phone call and said, no, this is what we'll be signing for, or we're gone.
Yeah. So meanwhile, yeah.
It's a riot.
Yeah. What's that?
I said it's a riot because most athletes get like, here, this is what we're offering you. Take it or leave it. And they're usually like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys didn't even allow that to happen. You were like, yep, here.
Even when I was just like, before like the Olympia and everything, and I was still with them, I was still making at least money. Like I think it was like 1,000, and then it bumped up to like 1,500 a month. And
oh wow!
I mean, yeah, and most athletes do not get money because everyone is willing to do it for free. So why would they pay me if they can just get someone that like kind of looks like me, and they'll do it for free? Yeah. And that's why no one gets paid, because everyone's just willing to do it for free because the validation factor, which that's what I wanted. That like I thought that would help, and like they would help me get in more magazines and do all this. But the reason I was in magazines was because Rob was doing all that work for me and contacting them. But the following year, because people were like catching on, supplement companies were catching on. Gaspari, who Rob contacted them before MHP because they're like from Jersey, and like I like all their supplements, and they like turned me down like multiple times. Every year they turned me down because they're like, nope, don't need her. So then finally they came to me and wanted me, and they offered me a ton of money. It was probably like $225,000, and yeah.
Can you imagine someone turning that down?
And we did.
Right.
So we had a meeting with MHP, and we said, hey, like Gaspari's offering me this, da-da-da-da-da. And we ended up and just like realized like, okay, we're bigger than this. $225,000. And MHP like agreed to it too. They're like, all right. And I remember Rob's face like, oh God, they said yes. Yeah. And he just, so we walked out, and then we called him back, and we just turned everybody down. And we're like, no, I want full control over what I say, what I wear, what ads I'm in. My value of myself is bigger than a supplement company. And yeah, it was hard turning that kind of money down because girls don't get that at all.
Not even close.
Not even close. I don't even know any girls that probably even get much money at all.
Most men don't get that.
I know.
But here's the thing, and you guys are so much smarter and ahead of the curve, is you knew how much time you put into your own business.
Yeah.
How much time they would have taken away from that.
Yep.
So money, at the end of the day, you would have been losing money.
Yeah. Money, yeah. It was a hard decision. I still remember Rob's face just being like, oh, I could hear him like gulp because he didn't think they were going to say yes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a great segue, because I know Nate is the business guy, always asking questions about Rob, and tell us more about Rob. How would you have handled that situation if Rob wasn't your side man?
Oh my God, I would have took it in a heartbeat.
All right. Right. But that's the brilliance of Rob. And I mean, he is the,
He sees he sees bigger picture a lot of times, and like this is before we had any idea. Like we had no, it was not even on the radar that we were going to do our own supplement line. That came like years later. It was almost like.
and was that your idea?
What's that?
Was that your idea, or did someone come to you and say, let's partner up, or let's get you?
We don't even have partners. It was our idea. Onward was the start of it. So Onward is it's our everything. It's our best-selling product. It's an immune, but we wanted something. We'd go to these expos, and you're shaking hands, kissing babies. You get sick every single time. You're at the expo for like 8 hours, so like you need like energy. So we're mixing like stacking like fat burners and Red Bulls and Emergency, and we just wanted a product that could put all of them together. And we had a friend that was already in like a supplement company, so he put us in contact with someone that could make it. So Onward was our first product, and it was going to be our only product, but we saw how cool it was to have an idea, come up with like our own kind of recipe, and then we send it to these scientists over here that wear white jackets that make it super official, and then they create this product for us. And it was cool to be able to stand, like I can completely stand behind everything we produce. And I remember being with MHP, and they made this product that I told them that I don't take, I'm not ever going to take. And they kept advertising me on, what was it, like Dopamite or something?
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, if someone interviews me in front of like 1,000 people and they ask me if I take Dopamite, I'm going to say no. I don't know why they keep using me for this ad. Like I told them it's the one product like I don't take, and I don't want to like take it or promote it because it kept saying like it changes brain chemistry and blah. I was like, it just sounds weird. I don't want to take it.
Yeah.
But
that's the stuff that happens.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you sign up and you become affiliated with a supplement line. So they put words in your mouth. They make you say things. They make you wear things. And like at the end of the day, Rob and myself valued myself higher than that. So that's where that all came from.
So when you turned down that money, you said you didn't have the idea at that point, like you were going to start a supplement company.
No.
What was the idea to take the place of that money? Did you have something at that point?
Just I want to say it wasn't like bragging, right? It was more of just a power move. Just I'm bigger than that. Like I went to the second Olympia I was probably one of the only athletes up there that didn't have a supplement sponsor, and it's because I didn't want one. So it was like more like a stance, like what? Like I don't need a supplement company to like bring me anywhere. So it was like I only wore Flag Nor Fail. I only wore and said whatever I wanted to say, not because like a supplement company is forcing me to wear this. Like I got to represent my own brand that I have complete control over.
So something that Nate doesn't understand because he's never worked a booth per se is, you get paid by the company and you get this one fee, and they say you have to be at the Arnold, the Olympia, you have to work these certain things for us.
Oh yeah.
Well, one year, I believe it was 2012, we were at the Arnold, and there was some heavy hitters in the booth. There was me, De La Rosa, Victor Martinez, Marco, and management come over to all of us and said, listen, you guys just got to be security guards and hold the line back.
Exactly.
And we're like, what? There's people that want to see us. And they're like, no, you gotta manage the line for Dana.
Yeah.
And we were all like, all right.
So fucked up.
So I said to Rob that weekend, I'm not going to say numbers, but I said, dude, you need your own thing. I'm like, because, like, she's here basically for free.
Yeah.
And you could have rented a booth and done that same thing and made triple what they were making, you know?
Yeah.
Because the only reason people were there were for you. It got to the point where other booths in the area were getting pissed because people couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
So that's when you ask, like, what did you do to take place of that money? She wouldn't have been able to do what she's doing. Like the Flag Nor Fail stuff would have suffered by signing that contract.
Oh yeah, for sure.
By not signing the contract, she was able to succeed even more.
Because when I signed for like whatever, when I was making $1,500 a month, they had like, okay, you need to go to this many expos, this. You have to compete in this many shows. Like, that's the other thing is like, they tell you how many times you compete a year. It's like, what? Well, why are you talking? No. Like, what if I'm not ready? Like, so I can only imagine if I signed for that much money, how many more expos would I had to have gone to? How many more shoots would I have gone to? How many more shows would I had to have done? Like the amount of traveling that I would have had to do would have 7 times the amount. Like it would be like every weekend I would have to be somewhere. And it's not that I hate expos, but like you can't, after a while, like when you're going to expo every single week, they would have sent me to every supplement. They would have just pimped me out. Like that's exactly what would happen because that's what they do even for $1,500. They pimp you out. Like, oh, if this supplement store spends $50,000, you get Linn Bailey. And then like I'm there for 2 days. Yeah. So it's just like, I like my life. And I don't want to be pimped out.
They own you.
What it is.
There was one Olympia when I just got off stage, literally just got off stage and walked over to the booth. And one of the guys at MHP were like, all right, Jose, now get up on the table and start posing. Stand up on the table. I'm like,
you're like, can I eat?
I'm like, dude, I'm cramping. I'm severely dehydrated. I'm still sweating. I'm dizzy. I'm going to fall over and I'm starving. And I was top 3 in the show. I'm like, they worked me. And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then someone else that was with us didn't even make top 10. They were like, well, he's doing it. I'm like, yeah, he can do it.
Yeah.
And I just got final call out and they killed me. Weinberger had us up there for 7 minutes straight posing. I'm like, no, they think they own you. So they'll try to get away with everything they can.
Yep. That is very accurate.
Yeah.
Dana, in the businesses that you have, so you have the Flag Nor Fail clothing line, the supplement company, you guys have a commercial gym space, right?
Yep.
And then your website. When you're starting these, are you and Rob the kind of people to immediately pinpoint people to run them? Like, we have this idea, let's build the idea and then have let's pick the person to execute it? Or are you the kind of get your hands dirty, be overwhelmed by it, and then have to bring people on to get yourself out of being overwhelmed?
That's number B. Number B. We do everything ourselves. Like, and I would say like our go-to person is like, we're like, how much work can Austin handle? So like, we started the supplement line by ourselves. Like we were the ones making products, like researching stuff and like coming up with like different ingredients that we can add and like different products and like that. We do everything. It's generally how it always is. Like my website, I was the one answering emails. I'm the one doing all the workouts. Austin is doing like the photography and setting it. Like it's literally, we do everything ourselves and then we add in when we need to. So like right now I have a customer service, which is amazing. So, but I had to build it up myself till I can like, oh, okay, now it signifies that I need somebody to help me out. But that's just how we always operate. When we operate so lean, the more people we add into things, it just makes it worse usually. So we operate as lean as possible and then we add in when we need to. Is it always the best way?
You guys are so passionate too. I've seen videos where you guys are living on the floor in your office.
It's
hard to recruit people to be part of that culture that you guys.
Oh yeah, that's why. Like I'm telling, like Austin will always be like the ride or die, because when we hired him, Rob and I had been living in the warehouse for like 2 years. Like we ended up, and like I think he moved into our house that we owned. We're like, hey, here, you can live in our house. We live in the warehouse, because like it feels pointless to like drive home and come back at 6 a.m. so we can let people in. Like times are definitely changed now. Like we're not like that. Like we go home every night now, and like we realize that balance is great in life. But there was a part of our life that like a good 8 years of not balanced life, or yes, a good 6 to 8 years, where it was like live and breathe and die just doing this thing. And yeah, Rob lived in warehouses for a very long time. Most of the time he wouldn't come home, and then at some point I moved in there with him. And I prepped living out of a warehouse. Yep.
I remember one time when I stayed at
sleep in the warehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I slept in the warehouse.
And then we'd have guests and make them sleep in our warehouse.
Well, that bedroom was awesome. You had it set up beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was perfect.
And we were all hanging out in the living room where the couches were.
Living room.
Yeah. And we were talking till like 1 a.m. And before you knew it, like I think Drew fell asleep.
Yep.
And Rob started making fun of him. Like, you pussy. And within 20 minutes, Rob was snoring, and it was just me. I'm like, and you're like, all right, well, your bedroom's over there. Go to bed. I go to bed. Around 5 a.m, I'm hearing all this noise. I wake up. I open the door. Rob's got a mask on. He'd already been painting for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're talking about when there was really no balance. All Rob did the entire time I was there was work.
Yeah.
It was
great. Our life isn't the same anymore, and I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. I think he misses like the struggle, because right now everything's doing fine. We live in Montana. We go home and sleep, and so there's like a part of it that like there's no struggle anymore. So you're missing that like fight. Like you always, I don't know, anytime like you think of the fight or flight response, like I like him, obviously, like we work well when there's a fight. Like
under
we
pressure.
always, yeah. So right now there's no fight. So we're just like, everything's great. I don't know.
So what's the next big thing then? What gets you up in the morning?
I don't know. I hate that I don't have an answer. I think the next big thing is just like get my health together and then like figure out something to do.
If you do it, listen, I'll promise you right now on this podcast, if you do it, I'll do it.
Olympia?
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm not ready. Maybe next year.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Dude, I don't even know if they're gonna have it this year, honestly.
I know. That's why I say I'll do it.
Yeah.
6 months away. We got August, September, October, November. It's almost 6 months.
Is it 6 months?
Yeah, the rest of July, October, September.
Oh, you missed September.
October, November, December. December 14th, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I could do it.
Probably the equivalent of 5 months.
Yeah. I mean, I usually start like 25 weeks out.
Yeah.
So as long as I have 25 weeks, I'll be good.
I think that's about what you got.
Right now?
Yeah, 22.
Oh, God. That sounds too close. God.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
All right, a couple more quick questions. We don't want to keep you too long. What's going on with Rob's music? Where's he at with that?
Well, right now it's a stand. Like he was supposed to start recording another album a couple months ago, but like obviously travel was so weird because this world is so weird. But I think right now he's just working on like remixes. He just put out one remix maybe 2 weeks ago by Cake Knife. So Cake Knife is doing the remixes, and I don't know if he'll do like the whole album, but I forget which one they did. I don't even know the name of the song. I don't know all the names of the songs. I just know all the words. Somehow I don't know the names. Okay. But most likely just going to start doing another album. So
how did Rob get into that? Like Jose knows, so I went to Berklee College of Music. I've been a musician my whole life. So I always find it interesting when you have the fitness music combo, because it's so rare. There's very few bodybuilders that are musicians, and very few musicians that work out at all and take care of themselves. How did he decide to go that route and give that a try?
Well, I don't think he would actually call himself a musician. He just screamed. But him and Charlie Hustle Charlie is the other half of his band it was Rob Bailey and the Hustle Standard. And they used to just make music for fun. Because I remember we would go up there. My favorite song is still B18C1. You're never gonna find it, but it's still one of my favorite. B18C1, turbo for fun, nitrous like a gun. But he used to be more of a rapper, so he'd go up to New York and just like make music for fun. And then we started doing YouTube videos, and we needed rights so we could monetize. So he's like, cool, let's just make some like music that we can throw on these YouTube videos so we can like fully monetize on YouTube.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah, so they did the Work, Hustle, Kill, I think was the first one that we used for YouTube. All I do is work, hustle, kill. Everyone like knows that song. So people started like stealing it, downloading it, and like putting it out, and we're like, whoa, like people like this? Like it was just supposed to be like in the background of music so we can monetize. So they're like, oh, okay. And people were just putting it out. I don't know what they were doing, but so they decided to like, okay, let's actually just like do an album and see what happens. So they like threw together like an entire album under, I think it was the Work, Hustle, Kill album, or I forget what all their names are. I think they just did number 6 or 7 together. And yeah, just put it out. People bought it. So 6 albums later, they're still making music.
Tell us a story about when someone leaked it to you that your music was being used during pregame warm-ups at, like, was it the Spurs?
Oh, yeah, Spurs.
And Rob made a phone call there, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, I think Charlie either called them because they used it and, like, didn't get permission from any, because they just put music out. They don't have a label. They're not under a record label. So there's no one really to call, like, hey, can we use your song? So I think Charlie either called them. So I think they were a little freaked out that they like were using the song illegally. So they brought us all down and like got us tickets and whatnot. They went and had a meeting with like, I guess all the high ups of the Spurs, and they like sat down like thinking that like Rob and Charlie were gonna ask for money.
Right. And
like they're like, no, can we just shoot on the basketball court afterwards? And they're like, oh, okay, we thought you wanted like a lot of money or something. They're like, no. So we went and shot around on the basketball court afterwards.
You guys were on the Jumbotron too, right?
Yeah, they put us on the Jumbotron, and yeah, so now his music I feel like is on like a bunch, like you'll hear like people walking in for UFC fights, like super cool.
And how were you contacted for Southpaw?
The producer of the movie, I think, fights. Like he does like Muay Thai or something. Yeah. And he listened, like that was like his favorite song. And he was like, okay, like I need to have this like as the open, like he already had that song in his mind as the dude's getting his hands wrapped and stuff. And I remember because Michael Mathers, freaking what's his face, Eminem was like kind of in charge of all the music, and like Eminem didn't like it. Okay. So like they ended up and like he was like, well, this is the song, this is what I want. And so Eminem had to like do something with it, and then they did the remix album, the remix of that, which turned out so cool with Busta Rhymes, who I'm obsessed with. I love Busta. and that's what came on. I don't really know how. I think they have like an agent now. There's someone that you call and can talk to them, but I don't really know much about the whole music side. That's all him.
It sounds like Rob's the man to call.
Oh yeah, somebody's
might say no.
the man to call if you want to use their music. Somebody just contact Rob.
It's so crazy though that it started from you guys saying we just need our own music that we can put on YouTube, so we're not using other people's music that's going to get in the way.
Yeah, it was just because
And now using movie soundtracks, UFC from that.
Yeah, which is crazy. I forget I feel like I need to know how many albums they actually have. I should know that, but I don't.
4?
No, it's at least like 6.
6.
And that doesn't even count all the stuff that no one has ever heard. Like they just used to, they literally just did it for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So who is, this is totally different off the subject, but have you had a fan that blew your mind, like as far as how does this person know who I am, or like either a famous person or just someone that you found out was a DLB fan and it kind of shocked you?
I haven't been shocked in a while. I think I'm more so shocked when I like go to the expos and stuff, and like just the wide range of variety of people. It's a lot of times it's people at these expos that shouldn't be at these expos, and the only reason they're there is because of me. They have no idea who anyone else is. They don't follow bodybuilding. They don't know anything about bodybuilding, and they come there with like their kids in strollers. They're like, we didn't know it was like this. We just saw that you were going to be here, so we came. And I think that's the coolest part. I just like the average people to like know who I am, and that I have obviously my bodybuilder section that are like bodybuilders and physique competitors, but it's cool to see like kids like as young as like 3, 4, 5 years old that like know who I am and like watch my videos because their mom watches the videos. And then I have like people that are like 60, 70 years old that like come to these expos and follow me. So it's cool. I don't think I would be super surprised. Like, I feel like The Rock should know who I am. I think there's a video of him training in a gym, and he's doing shoulder presses, and he's like looking straight ahead, and right above the mirror is actually a picture of me on the wall. I don't remember which gym he was training at, but it's one of his local gyms somewhere that he trains. But I was standing it's pretty much staring him right in the face. There was a poster above. I was like, he has to know who I am.
You got to reach out to him. Tell him you want to do his Titan games.
You know what? They're the ones that contacted me. I need an agent. I need someone to do all my paperwork and stuff. So they wanted me to be a Titan. And then they send you over this entire like novel that you have to write about yourself. Like, where did you go to high school? Like, what were your grades? Like, it was too far in depth. I'm like, I'm so busy. I can't do this 20-page thing and like do a separate video. And like Ninja Warrior made me do that. It was kind of annoying. I was like, you guys are coming to me. Can't you just Google me? Like, I don't have time.
Or at least throw me a number before we see if this is worth my time.
It's like literally 20 pages. Like, I remember doing the Titan one. I was like an hour or 2 in. I'm like, I'm not even done yet. Like, and I don't think I finished it. And I was like, fuck it. I still didn't even do the video that I need to send. So if someone could just do that for me. But now I have a videographer, so maybe now I'll actually try.
Can you get Austin to do this?
No, see, he's even busier than I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, fly us out there. I'll do all your I can type and everything.
Yeah.
No, and I don't even do my own.
All right, so I'll hire Michaela.
I'll fly Michaela out there for you.
Perfect.
She'll love it.
Get me on the TV. I want to be on the boob tube.
All right. You belong on there. Imagine the amount of people that would know who you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time. We did have our own reality show called The Linn Bailey Show. It wasn't on TV, but it was being shopped around to be on TV.
Yeah.
But it was on Rated Red, but they like went out of business and now you can't even find it, so it doesn't matter. But we did, it was like 12 episodes. It was like a mixture of, it was like Jackass meets Business World meets fitness. Like it was just, it was good
That's pretty
time.
much you and Rob.
Yeah. But it was just basically us, supposedly in our daily life, but somehow our daily life always had Roman candles and we would always shoot each other. That wasn't our idea. That was the producer's idea. So the producer was one of the ex-producers of Jackass. So it was there was a slight Jackass feel to it. So a lot of like pranks and a lot of like things where people were getting hurt and a lot of fireworks tons of fireworks.
I could see that. You guys are Reading, Pennsylvania.
I don't miss that. The final day we did dodgeball with Roman candles. There was no ball. It was just we were shooting. There's a line, and we just shot Roman candles at each other, like our whole entire staff. It was really dangerous.
You didn't get hit at all?
What's that?
Did you get hit?
No. Duck, dive, dodge, and duck, or whatever. What's that from dodgeball? I forget. Dive, dodge, duck.
Dive, dodge, dodge. All right. Sounds good. So, one more, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess last question. Since you retired, have you kept up with the sport in terms of each year at the Olympia, the Arnold, or are you just kind of done with that once you walked away from it?
Yeah, I follow it because it's interesting to see where it goes, which it's so far past me. That's so funny.
What do you think of the current physiques, right? Because they obviously evolve over the years, either better or worse, depending on
bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Always much bigger. So what are your thoughts of how it's evolved over the last 8 years or so?
I mean, as soon as they took women's bodybuilding out, I already knew that was I think they're bringing it back, or it's kind of brought back.
Coming back.
Yeah, they were supposed to have the first women's bodybuilding. As soon as they took that out, I was like, ooh, that's a bad decision, because you need, like, those girls that like decided to go into bodybuilding, they've been doing that their whole life. They needed, like, that's like, if they want to look that big, like, if you want to be that big, cool, like, that's just not me. So as soon as you take that big category out, all those girls came down to physique. So then it made physique humongous, like, ugh. But no, I mean, it's hard because, like, you think of, like, every year as an athlete, you see what you are this year. So every year you want to be a little bit better. You don't want to be the same, and you obviously don't want to reverse. So every year as an athlete, you're going to get a little bit bigger. It's another year of training. You maybe come in a little bit drier. So the sport, regardless, will always evolve, unfortunately. Yeah. That's just how it happens.
What do you think of Shanique?
Oh, she's a freak of nature.
She's unreal.
I remember her saying, people asked her like what her stage weight was. I think she was like 160 on stage.
She's very tall too.
Yeah, not to the point of 40 pounds on me. Like she had 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe more, like 42 pounds, because I was like 118. I'm like 118 to 120 on stage.
She's probably 5'7".
Yeah, I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
But
she's ridiculous in person. Like, you're like, wow, when you just see how wide her shoulders are, how tinier waist is, rounder quads and glutes and everything. She looks like a cartoon.
She's like a genetic specimen. So.
Yeah. And she's still a baby. What, 23, 24?
Yeah, I think she's 20. Like, I'm 20. I think she's 23.
That's crazy.
37. I will never be that big.
37.
I will never be able to put. I would have been able to put on that in 16 years. I haven't been able to put on that much muscle. Jesus.
No, you're a different animal altogether. But I think, as far as marketing the sport, you were exactly what it needed at that time. And if they wanted to market it to the masses more.
Yeah.
You know, Shanique, I love her. It's amazing, but that's not realistic.
No. And then you'll have every girl that, okay, this is what they want. So what do I need to do or take to get like that? And I'm not willing to do or take anything to ever look like that. So if I ever competed, I would look like a pipsqueak on stage, and I'm okay with that. I'd be competing for a whole other reason. One, for myself, like to see if I can still do it, because I always like have like a self-doubt. And then two, do it a different way, whether that's like, okay, I get drug tested every week randomly, or do it like I don't know, like a certain diet. Like it would be almost like a test, like some sort of test. I want to just do it somehow differently, which I used to do when we would do the tours. The last week, like I remember going down to Tampa, we did my last week, which is like one of the most crucial weeks where you don't want to mess up anything and not stress yourself out. We did a Airstream tour down to the Tampa Pro. Like an idiot.
I love that thing.
Yeah, which was cool, and I like totally stressed myself out, and I don't know how I like somehow pulled it together and looked good for that show. But yeah, we always try to like, okay, so you can do this show, content will be great. I think it's just always good content. Me, I get like that whole competition side, so it would like elevate my training and to the extreme. So, but I would just do it knowing like I'm not gonna win. There's no way. If they would get like, it wouldn't even make sense they even put me in the top 5, because like I'm just not that anymore. Like I can't put on 40 pounds of muscle.
As long as they let you pose, do a posing routine.
Yeah, that's all. Honestly, that's all I really want to do. So.
Right. Well, they certainly would, because they know the place will sell out.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest crowd that I ever been in front of was the last time you were there.
Yeah.
Probably the only time they truly sold out.
Yeah, exactly.
They say they sell out every year, but
no, there's so many empty seats. It's
yeah,
crazy.
after you were gone, there were more empty seats, I noticed.
Yeah, because they were all waiting in my line then.
Yeah.
They went from stage, and then I went directly to my line, and then there was just a sea of people. It was crazy.
Yeah. That was exciting times. I was backstage. Our prejudging was just about to start as your finals when they announced you. And the 212 were all backstage warming up. And then the whole building shook when you won. Like it was the most exciting thing. And I didn't even get to see it because we're backstage pumping up and everything.
Yeah.
But everyone in the building knew what had happened. And it was just like such an exciting thing to experience.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah, we all had goosebumps. Like, holy shit! Can you imagine this many people this excited for you to win?
Yeah.
You know, that was it. Was kind of cool. It's as if we all got to share it with you, because, you know, no one is gonna ever experience something like that. I certainly didn't. Even when I won the Arnold, you know, there was still people like, boo! You know, there's a handful of people like, yeah. Finally, I got something. Whatever.
Oh my God.
But
No.
yeah, the entire building loved it. And we loved it. And we love you, Dana. I really appreciate you taking this time. It's been over an hour now. And I know you're a busy, busy girl, so we really appreciate it.
I always make time for you.
I know you
You gotta
do.
come to Montana, man.
I want to.
Yeah, it's
the
safe
dogs?
here.
How are the Pyrenees?
Oh, they're good. Reminds me of Chewy. They're
know.
probably
How
like
big
about 150 pounds. I still think they're growing.
Same as Chewy.
What's that?
Same size as Chewy.
Yeah, is that what he is? Like 150? Yeah. Just big balls of fur.
Yeah. Are they taller or longer than him? Or are they the same size, basically?
I mean, when they stand up, they look me straight in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty tall.
Yeah.
I feel like they're about the same size. They just have so much like fur and like just skin. Like when you grab like their chest, like you don't feel muscle. It's just all flabby skin. Like just so much skin.
That's like me if I ever get ripped again.
Oh my God.
Hey, do you have any other animals out there? What do you got?
Well,
You got a
we're
llama?
up to 7 goats now.
7 goats.
Yeah, so we got the goats. When we moved here, we gave my chickens and turkeys away to a friend of ours, just because they attract way too many animals. They just make too much. I think they're just small prey. But so we have the goats. We lost one goat, my favorite goat, Max, to a mountain lion. So that's when we got.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I think I knew that. Oh my.
Yeah. So like. I mean, they're in like an entire gate, like a 6-foot fence. It's hot all the way around. We have them, we got them like a full house, like, and they go away at nighttime. And it was just unlucky, unfortunate. And of course, it was Max, my favorite fucking goat.
How did he get him?
He just jumped. I mean, cougars can jump like 16 feet in the air.
It
like,
jumped over. How big
Oh
is
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah. They definitely like he could have just been on a tree and jumped over, but I found him like in the corner. And the scary part is like, as shitty as it sounds, it could have been worse because lion was literally 5 feet from me. Like when I found Max, it was like snowing. It was dark, and I'm like obviously huddled over him crying. And I call Rob, and because Rob was like in LA at the time, so I call him. I'm like crying. He's like, call Drew to get him up because he only lives like a mile away. So I was probably out there about 15 minutes by myself. And Drew pulls up and starts walking towards me with a flashlight. And then as soon as he got about like 5 feet from me, I heard this growl right through the fence behind, like in a bush. And that thing was probably staring at me for 15 minutes. Like, so I mean, I'm lucky I didn't get killed. Because it can kill a human in like a second.
How big was it?
I went out the next day and like measured like footprints and stuff, and I could see like it was kind of freaky, like where you could see his entire tracks. Like we were away for a week, and our parents were watching him, and I remember his dad even saying like, "Hey, the goats were just like acting weird," and they keep going to the back fence. We have 2 separate fences. They keep going to the back fence for some reason. I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes they're just weird. And that thing was probably stalking them for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then when we finally came, I like was babysitting. I came home like right as it was like getting dark. And I usually put them away before it gets dark. It was just unfortunate timing. And I think I'm the one that like broke it up because like he wasn't mad. Like, it literally just happened. He was still warm. Ugh. So I think my lights came up the driveway and like cat quick ran, but it was right there like looking at me. So I heard the growls. I was like, fuck, like Drew, get inside. So we came back out, got a gun, and we have a little spot on it. So we like spotted it, and its eyes, like as we were walking, just like the body wasn't moving. He was just following us wherever we went. If we went this way, he'd follow us. It was
Did you
creepy.
shoot him?
We fired like 6 rounds, but like you're firing into the dark.
Right.
So,
You
so
got neighbors a few miles away too, right?
Yeah, about 30 acres away.
I think you're safe there.
Yeah.
Do you still have those? What are those things called? The Trailblazers, or what are they called?
Side by
They're kind
side?
of like ski mobiles, but they're not.
Oh, yeah.
What are they
Yeah,
called?
we got an arsenal of just different. That's the coolest thing about Montana and like where we live. We can literally leave our house and we just have trails for days. So we have snowmobiles, we have snow bikes, which are dirt bikes on tracks, and then we have like the side by sides and dirt bikes. Like we have like an arsenal of just things to drive. Just
How fun is that? I'm definitely coming out.
yeah, you gotta come and spend. Like it's safer here. We don't have to wear masks, and we have restaurants still open.
Really?
Yeah.
How far away is the center of town, like to where the restaurants and stuff are?
Oh, like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
it feels like we're literally in the middle of nowhere. We're like on a mountain, like there's no neighbors, but like it's a 15-minute right into town. We got good restaurants there.
Oh, that is awesome. It sounds
Yeah.
like heaven to me.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, all right. Anything else, Nate? Quick we can think.
No, thank you for your time, Dana.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon. Maybe if you have something to update us with, we'll bring you on again. And sure, this is going to go through the roof. People are going to love to hear from you.
Yeah. When I update you, like I am prepping, so then you have to start prepping.
I will. I've been training.
I feel like I should have put this on. Well, actually, no, we have it on videotape. I'll just bring this. Be like, hey, remember when I said I would do the Olympia and you said you would too?
I will. I need some inspiration. I
feel like I should just do it just so you have to.
Well, if you do, I'm gonna. And it doesn't matter,
George, start writing my diet.
There you go.
There.
I probably have just as good a chance of winning as you do, or vice versa. So
slim to none.
Right. So it'd be more about getting in great shape and showing our fans and friends that we can do it or me at an older age. You still have plenty of good years left.
Well, how old are you now?
I'm 45.
Okay. I thought I was going to guess 42.
Yeah. So you're 37. I was in my third year as a pro at 37.
Yeah.
Just starting to hit my stride. You're just yeah. Perfect. You're still a baby.
Yeah.
It
doesn't sound like I feel like I'm 27, but the number's scary once you get closer to 40, but
yeah. Well, you look great. You look
thanks.
Young as can be.
Thank you. That's
a little longer.
That's what not taking drugs and taking care of yourself can do.
Good for you.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. That's me too. You can look like Ed Asner. Is that what the guy said?
Yeah.
They said I sound like Fat Tony, and I look like Ed Asner.
Oh my God!
People are loving me.
This is what you have to look forward to, everyone.
Yeah, when you hit 45, you get all this gray coming in, and the dark ones fall out. The grays come in. It's all right. I'm happy as can be.
All right. Well, you and Michaela are always welcome, so come visit.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Nate, you're welcome too. I feel like I left you out there. Sorry, you're welcome too.
Yeah, Nate, you gotta come too.
Yeah.
Where's the cleaning lady, Nate? There was a cleaning lady behind you a few minutes ago.
No, that was Christine. I guess she's the cleaning lady too.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I saw someone on the
Christine, you're invited. Everyone's invited.
All right, good.
Maybe when our warehouse is done, we'll have a full gym. So it's hopefully going to be done in November. So
that'd be awesome.
Big party.
Yeah, then we can go skiing and snowmobiling and all that fun, happy bullshit.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm excited. All right. Well, we'll let you go. We'll talk soon. Love you.
All right. Love you.
Peace out.
Bye.
Say bye.